I wanted to talk real quick about why you might need a upgrade to your low pressure fuel pump system. After putting the catless downpipes on, I started looking at my logs, and actually, I ended up getting an error due to the low pressure. But anyway, went into a ignition off, but the fuel pressure dropped so low. Regardless, looking at when you go back and look at the logs, so this was one of my last logs before putting the low pressure fuel pump upgrade on. And if we go at the this is a log off of JB4, if you go to fuel pressure low, and this is a first through fourth run, like a little quarter-mile run, you can see on the onset you're sitting in about 63 psi range. But as soon as you start building into boost in RPM, you can watch, here's first to second, got down to about 56, which as you continue on, getting higher into second, 49, third gear, staying in the 40s, 46, 45, 49, switching into fourth, down to 44, 43, 42. So you can just see the fuel pressure. They say momentary dips, you want to keep it above 55. I think it's somewhere I was reading as the ideal. So, if it dips down to 50 or like that for a moment, they say it's not a huge issue. But if your low pressure fuel pump can't supply enough fuel and enough pressure, your high pressure values are going to drop just because there's not as much fuel coming to the high pressure pump, and so it can't feed your injectors. So again, this is just before doing the low pressure fuel pump upgrade. And here's a log from afterwards. You can already just see, starting out, it's already about 10 psi higher, sitting in the 74s, and that's before making boost. So that's just already showing that you can, on that FI-650, just get the secondary pump. And if you have a newer pump in there already, a newer stock low pressure fuel pump, that's probably not a problem. But mine was already, just a little weaker than this one. So the secondary doesn't kick on to about 15 psi. Is the Hob switch I have. But you can see as it starts dropping here, and I'm already into this is spun through second and shifted right away into third. But it didn't start getting to about 15 psi until right in this range. But you can see that I never drop, hardly come out of the 70s. So once that secondary kicks in, here's mid 60s, 65. But even then, it's staying in the 65 and above range, and this is all the way through the top of fourth. And here's 6,200 RPM, fourth gear. So the lowest I'm seeing is 62 at about 6,500 RPM. But you can just see that way it's just keeping that fuel supply, the pressure going to the high pressure fuel pump constant. So this is a known issue that when you start pushing the boost levels up, the fuel pressure is going to drop. It's happened on both cars that I've played with on these 335 and 54s, and definitely, it was a little bit of work or learning curve. It wasn't hard if I was to go do it again, but to put that pump in the secondary in there. But the results definitely, as you can see, speak for themselves. Again, here's without the upgraded or the new stock fuel pump and secondary Walbro. Just all those dirty 40s. Don't want those in there. So anyway, just really wanted to quickly show that. Thanks.